Villain or visionary? For centuries, Niccolò Machiavelli has been portrayed as the mastermind of political deception, a man who advocated for lies, cruelty, and ruthless ambition. But is that the real story? Far from endorsing evil, Machiavelli sought to confront the brutal realities of power in a world defined by chaos. His most famous work, The Prince, is not a guide to immorality. It is a brutally honest reflection of how power operates, how it is maintained, and how it is lost. Written in 1513 during his exile, The Prince was born out of personal hardship. Accused of conspiring against the Medici family, Machiavelli was imprisoned and tortured by the strappato, a method so brutal it could dislocate shoulders. Stripped of his career, he retreated to his family estate and poured his anguish into writing. Dedicated to Lorenzo de' Medici, The Prince was an attempt to regain favor with Florence's rulers, but its publication 5 years after his death sparked controversy that has endured for centuries. To understand Machiavelli, we must understand the world that shaped him. Renaissance Italy was not a unified nation, but a fragmented collection of city-states including Florence, Venice, Milan, and Naples. These states were locked in constant conflict, allying with and betraying one another in an endless pursuit of dominance. Foreign powers like France, Spain, and the Holy Roman Empire exploited this chaos, turning Italy into their battleground. The French invasion of 1494 under Charles VIII ushered in decades of war and left Italy vulnerable to external control. Meanwhile, the internal politics of Italy were no less tumultuous. Leaders relied heavily on mercenaries or condottieri, who often betrayed their employers for gold. Machiavelli despised this system, writing in The Prince, mercenaries and auxiliaries are useless and dangerous, and if anyone holds his state based on these arms, he will never stand firm or secure. He believed in citizen militias, loyal to their homeland, as the backbone of a strong state. Adding to this turmoil was the Renaissance papacy, which wielded both spiritual and temporal power. Popes like Alexander VI and Julius II acted less like religious leaders and more like monarchs or generals. Julius II, often called the Warrior Pope, personally led troops into battle to expand the Papal States. Machiavelli criticized the Church's role in perpetuating Italy's disunity, arguing that its ambition kept the peninsula weak and divided. He saw religion as a useful tool for statecraft, but condemned its hypocrisy as practiced by the Church of his time. Amid this chaos, Machiavelli developed a pragmatic philosophy of power. He believed human nature was fundamentally self-serving, writing, "Of mankind we may say in general they are fickle, hypocritical, and greedy of gain. Leaders," he argued, "must navigate this reality with skill and pragmatism, abandoning traditional notions of morality when necessary." For Machiavelli, effective leadership required a delicate balance between ruthlessness and restraint. One of his most famous insights is the question of whether it is better for a ruler to be loved or feared. "It is much safer to be feared than loved," he asserted, because fear ensures compliance while love is fragile and easily broken. However, he warned that a ruler must avoid being hated, as hatred breeds rebellion. Another enduring lesson from The Prince is the importance of appearances. Machiavelli observed that perception often outweighs reality in politics, writing, "Men in general judge more by the sense of sight than by the sense of touch. A ruler must project strength and virtue, even if their actions behind the scenes are less noble." Machiavelli's admiration for Cesare Borgia, the son of Pope Alexander VI, illustrates these principles. Borgia used cunning military force and calculated violence to consolidate power in central Italy. Machiavelli praised his decisiveness and skill, but also acknowledged his failure, attributing it to his reliance on fortune, specifically the support of his father. For Machiavelli, Borgia's rise and fall demonstrated the interplay between virtue or skill and fortuna or luck. Machiavelli's influence didn't end with Renaissance Italy. His realist philosophy shaped the work of Thomas Hobbes, whose Leviathan argued for strong, centralized authority to prevent societal collapse. Through Hobbes, Machiavelli's ideas influenced the founding fathers of the United States. While the founders rejected tyranny, their emphasis on checks and balances reflects a Machiavellian understanding of human nature and the dangers of unrestrained power. Machiavelli's world may seem distant, but its lessons remain strikingly relevant. Just as Renaissance Italy's city-states were locked in competition, today's nations operate in a fragmented global system where no overarching authority enforces peace. Institutions like the United Nations attempt to mediate conflicts, but their limitations echo Machiavelli's observation that power often trumps morality. Efforts like the Congress of Vienna and the League of Nations highlight humanity's recurring struggle to impose order on chaos. Yet, as Machiavelli understood, lasting stability requires a balance of skill, strength, and pragmatism. Far from being a manual for deceit, The Prince is a mirror reflecting the complexities of power. Machiavelli's insights challenge us to confront uncomfortable truths about leadership, morality, and human nature. In a world where chaos persists, his call to navigate it with wisdom and strength is as relevant today as it was 5 centuries ago. What lessons will we take from Machiavelli to face the challenges of our own time? Please subscribe to the Intellectualists YouTube channel. We not only cover news, but also delve into history, inventions, and science, uncovering valuable lessons to help shape today's world. Turn on notifications to receive the latest updates from the channel.